Morning of day number 3. I got breakfast going right now. Got my oats soaking. Just filtered a little bit of water. Got my sleeping bag packed up, my clothes packed up. Alright, get a few push-ups going to start today off. You know, I was just thinking this morning how lucky, how blessed I am to have my health, to be able to do something like this. I mean, this is amazing. It feels so good just to be out in nature, walking around. I just want to show you guys something before we leave camp here. This is what they call a widowmaker. It's when a tree is kind of like broken and leaning against another tree here. Like if this tree here was not supporting that, this could fall. Same thing with this tree, but it looks like you could have a potential widowmaker here too. You do not want to set your tent up anywhere near this, right? Because if like a gust of wind or a rainstorm comes by, it could potentially knock the tree over. And if your tent's underneath that, it would crush you and kill you, hence leaving you the name widowmaker if you're married. The base is not very supported at all. It's broken here. So be very careful when setting your tent up anywhere near, you know, a tree, a broken tree structure like this. Because originally I was going to set my tent up here, and then I came back and I saw this. I was like, nope, not going anywhere near that. You never know which way this could blow during like a storm or something. But overall, this is a beautiful campsite. So leaving Lucky Hammock, it's been nothing but spider webs in the face. Like, why do spiders have to make webs across the trail at face height? Always. So what I'm doing to combat that, I'm holding a stick up in front of my face just to prevent any spider webs wrapping around my head. It's been brutal. I've only gone maybe 100 feet, and it's been non-stop. So I don't know if you guys can see across the way, but it's pretty much residential area. So it's people's backyards. And then you got the canal right there. And then I'm just walking along this path right here. So it kind of just skirts around the outskirts of the residential area. I heard roosters crowing this morning at that Lucky Hammock campsite, so I knew I was close to civilian life. I think there's a bunch of fish jumping around in there. And then there's this like heron or crane over here. I think he's getting ready for his breakfast. I don't know if you can see him. So during these road walks, I usually gives me time to think and kind of reflect on either things in my life or how things are going during the hike. And during this road walk, just happened to think about, you know, how well I prepared or how well I packed for my first solo backpacking trip, self-supported one ever. And I'd say, actually, think I prepared and packed pretty well for this. I'd say about 95% was pretty solid. It's probably a few items I probably should have packed, and I'm gonna jump into those right now. So first up, my shoes. I knew when I put these on the night before, they felt a little small, a little tight. I thought they would stretch out, and they kind of have a little bit, but I think right off the bat, need a bigger pair of shoes. These, for some reason, feel like they shrunk on me, or maybe my feet are getting bigger, I don't know. But right there, right then, I knew I shouldn't have worn these because they definitely causing blisters and causing my feet to hurt. Next, I should have clipped my toenails. Didn't even think about that. Didn't notice it until first day in. Or I should have had a pair of toenail clippers in my ditty bag. Another nice addition to the ditty bag probably would be a small pair of scissors too, to kind of cut open any like small packets or electrolytes or what have you. I mean, for the most part, they're pretty easy to tear open, but sometimes condensation, and like I like to use coconut oil on my skin and it gets slippery, so maybe a small pair of scissors would have been a nice addition. Maybe a second pair of socks wouldn't have been a bad idea, because these are starting to stink and they're always wet in the morning. And It's never fun putting on wet socks, but then I was thinking, how would they dry out during the day? I did pack a pair of briefs just in case. I don't know, I'm not sure if I needed those or not. I think a longer hand towel of some sort instead of this buff. I was using this buff as like a towel and like face protector for any like dusty parts of trail. But when I was trying to wipe up the rain the other day in my tent, this just got too wet and it didn't really soak anything up. Plus, using it as like a hand dryer or like face dryer, I don't know, it didn't really work as well as I thought. Maybe a microfiber towel, even though I'm not a huge fan of polyester or wearing polyester in general. Like, even though I'm wearing it now, it's just light and moisture wicking, so you kind of have to for backpacking. You know, maybe a nice, a little bit bigger than this microfiber towel, because I think that picks up moisture well, dries fast, it's lightweight. And, you know, instead of a cotton towel, which could weigh you down, it doesn't dry as fast. But something just a little bit bigger, so you could even just place on a bench in the morning so you could sit down and not have a wet ass when you sit on the bench, because usually there's condensation or moisture on a bench or just wherever. Again, these are just notes to myself. But I think clothes-wise, I think I packed as ultralight as possible, so I think I was good there. Shit kit, I was very happy about. Before going on this solo journey, I was very concerned about hygiene because I know how important that is to your health. And I just wasn't sure how well I could keep myself clean out here, not taking a shower for, what, 3-4 days. And the most concerning piece was my shit kit. So what I packed was some toilet paper, the witch hazel butt wipes, perfect. I love using those. I even use those in daily life. And then also the Kulo Clean. That was a great last minute addition. Basically, you attach it to your water bottle and then you spray it up into your butt like a little bidet. So it's essentially a backcountry bidet. And then you just kind of let your butt air dry. So that whole system actually worked out great. And my trowel, first time using my trowel, that thing was solid. That cut right through roots and dirt and everything. It's a little bit heavier than a regular trowel, but it's sharp and it could double as like a weapon or a knife to protect myself in case something tries to attack me. This guy right here. I was really happy about the shit kit. And then I also bought these like cotton wet wipes or wet naps or whatever to kind of, or face wipes to wipe my face, my pits, my legs, and that seems to have worked. That cleaned me up pretty well, so I was really happy about that purchase. Those were really lightweight. I also packed like a coin-sized towelette, so you basically wet it with water and it expands into like a little face wipe towel. I'm gonna try that out tonight. I think that should be good too. So in regards to hygiene, I think I packed pretty well for my ditty bag, but overall I think I did pretty well for this first trip. I think I packed it out pretty good. Food, I think the amount of food I packed has been perfect so far. Loxahatchee River Battlefield Park and Riverbend Park. I've been up here a couple times. This is probably by far one of the nicest day use recreational areas. I think I go this way. Hey, how you doing? So yeah, if you're looking for a good, you know, day hike, day bike area, they actually have kayaking here too. Definitely come down here. Beautiful trail, well maintained, very clean. They have drinkable water up at the front entrance. They got facilities up there. Everything is super nice. If you're looking for like a free recreational area to come park for the day, this is the spot. Just come down here, explore, make it a half day, full day outing. Gotta love this. Wide open for me. Boom. Right under here. Yeah, and we go left did I? Oh, over here. I knew it. I missed it. It's very easy to miss. So see, there's the A-frame. Even though the markers are right there, I think you could go that way too, but you'd miss out on this right here, this A-frame ladder to go up and over the fence. So it's pretty easy, just a little up the ladder, down the ladder, and then continue on along the highway. Coming up to the bridge crossing, go up over the bridge, and then up a ways is that 7-Eleven convenience store restaurant area, which is where we're gonna stop next. Kind of somehow get up and over there. Can walk across, and then we're gonna have to stop at the median here, wait for these cars to pass. We have safely crossed that highway. Got 7-Eleven over there. We're gonna resupply there after we eat at Guacamole's. Yep, this is what I'm talking about right here. Little steak salad. Got some waters. Alright, this was a solid stop. Just finished up at that 7-Eleven. As I was sitting there at lunch, I don't know, my body just like started getting a little anxious to get back on trail. I don't know, I was just excited to get back into the woods. I couldn't stand civilization for more than, I guess, 30 minutes. Ocean Lake hiking trail. No horses beyond this point. There it is, go through this little gated area. Continue onwards. So I did want to make sure to capture this, because when you come to this section, you may be confused about which way to go, because you come up to this like little house cabin area. You want to go directly towards this cabin after you come out of the woods back there. So you kind of cross that road, and then you walk directly towards this cabin with the FT sign on it, and then you'll see the marks or the blazes right there, and then you just continue along. This next stretch of trail, I believe over here on the left, is all private property, no trespassing, so you want to make sure you stay on the designated path. Beautiful little creek right here. Alright, so we are coming up to the underpass of Interstate 95 that runs through Florida. If you can hear that traffic in the background, that's what it is. It's right here, literally right above my head. So we're gonna creep right underneath here. So this is usually all water. Where am I going? Up here. Right here. And now we're going underneath. Ooh, it's a little, wow, that's lower than I thought. Now we're going underneath the northbound overpass. So now we just kind of go parallel to I-95 for a stretch. Got a nice little mattress here, take a nap. I feel like last time I hiked this section I saw that too. 95 is way out there in the distance now. Next stop is this, I think, Cypress Creek campsite where I'm gonna rest, dry out my tent, because it did have a little bit of condensation on it, so I've been meaning to stop and do that. So I think that's where I will dry things out. So we're coming up to this Cypress Creek, and last time I was here this was all underwater up to like my knees. This is super dry. This boardwalk as well was all underwater last time I hiked this. you couldn't even see where you were going. We are coming up to Cypress Creek campsite. I don't know, this might be too hot. I don't think there's going to be any shade here. But here's the campsite. Nice little picnic table over here. Not bad. Not bad at all. You can filter water right down here if there's no gaties. Yeah, we got to be careful going down there. But that's actually a pretty solid water source. And across the way, I don't think you can see it too well. I'll try to zoom in. I don't know if you can see it, but right there is a shelter. Tent out drying, sleeping bag, shoes, clothes, etc. Out here drying as well, getting ready to filter some, just 1.5 liters of water out of that lake over there. It looks very clean. I don't know if you guys can see too well, but there is a gatey right there. Right there. And I had to filter water right there. But just to show you how clear this water is, not too bad, right? That's pretty crystal clear. That's the cleanest water on trail thus far. Left foot not looking too bad, just a few bug bites. Blister on the pinky. Just a little dirty. Maybe some poison ivy. Right foot, not as good. Looks like a nasty little poison ivy thing right there, that little bubble. The blister right there. Woo, baby. That is from Big Cypress, like a couple weeks back. It was just about to heal, and then I go ahead and do this, and then that blows up again. And then I got a blister right there on the bottom, and then on the pinky toe. I'm actually surprised my pinky toenail has not fallen off yet, but this is, yeah, that's pretty nasty right there. I mean, I'm still able to walk on it, no problem, but it's just, you know, you feel it. Blister in between my toes, I think from the sand rubbing. That's gonna be a nasty one. I have to pop that. Let me go filter some water. Hopefully I don't get sucked in by a kraken out there in the middle of the lake. We have moved on from Cypress Creek Camp. Was able to filter or scoop water there successfully. Even though there was a gator in the distance, it was keeping an eye on me for sure. I think the Lord again protected me on that one. It's so fucking dry out here. You just don't know. You don't know when you're gonna run into water ever again. And from here on out, I don't know. I think the next water source is not too good. You gotta get that water whenever you can out here with it being this dry, because you just don't know what lies ahead. Last time I was here, this was all covered. You had to bushwhack through. Couldn't even make it through here, so they did a great job cutting all this back. Alright, so this is the other water source. This is actually flowing really nice. Assuming we want to stay uphill here. That's about shin deep. Look at that. Whoa. There's something right there. And we have made it to Jonathan Dickinson State Park. In order to camp here, you do have to pay a fee. I think it's like $5. It's what I paid ahead of time for either Kitchen Creek or Scrub J. A quick sit down here, make sure I didn't lose anything in that moving stream. That was deeper than I thought. It's flowing nice though too. But it was about the same water quality as the lake. Actually, I think the lake was a little bit clearer, to be honest. But I do like the flowing water because it kind of acts as like a natural filtration system, I guess, because it's moving and not stagnant as opposed to a lake. But the lake looked pretty clear, so we're going to stick with that. Jonathan Dickinson State Park is probably one of the nicest state parks I've been to in Florida. I've done a couple of hikes up here. It's quite the trail system. There's certain like designated mountain bike trails up here as well. There's absolutely no tree cover here in JD. This has been a hot, lonely walk, this one. Definitely fill up at that creek or the lake before you enter into JD. It is dry as a bone out here. Look at all these damn trees. It's all identical. Everything looks the same. If you didn't have this path or these orange blazes, you could easily lose your way. You could get lost in here because everything just looks the same. It reminds me of when I almost got lost in the cypress domes looking for water in Big Cypress. Everything looked the same. It's like a damn desert out here. Holy hell. So once you make it through like the desert portion of JD where there's sun all the time and you're fully exposed, you end up at this section of JD where you get a nice little tree canopy cover for at least a little bit of time. And you know me, I like my boardwalks. This water looks a little too murky to filter. So I come up to this junction where there's 3 nice benches. I always feel like I take a break right before there's a bench section. This little narrow strip of trail is actually getting a little tricky to walk, because if you're not paying attention or you're looking off into the distance, you could accidentally like step on the side here, and like it kind of, you can't see it in the shade here, it kind of like rolls your ankle inwards. So you got to be careful to make sure that you stay exactly in the middle here. Apparently this is a very easy to miss turn here if you've got your head down and you ain't looking where you need to be looking, because you kind of get distracted by something in the distance here. There's like a trailhead all the way down there. You do have this right turn signal on the tree, and then I do see on the tree stump over there it says X no. So I'm guessing that means do not come this way for the OTL. This little stretch of trail in JD is deceivingly more challenging than it looks. So don't underestimate this section. I thought I was pretty much in the clear, but this is definitely proving. Woo, see, like I'm almost, it's just the edges here, because it's a little bit of a like rivet that you're walking in. And if you look off to the distance or just missteps, he right there, I almost did it again, you almost like lose your balance. Injuries are prone to happen during like the last couple miles where you're fatigued, you're not thinking, right? So this is where you need to stay sharp. You know what's beautiful? Is this right here. But you know what's even more beautiful? Is this bench right here. Quick tip, or at least this is what I've been doing, in case you haven't seen a blaze for a while and you're not sure if you're going the right direction. If you don't check your far app or don't feel like it, and you don't see any blazes in front of you, you can always look behind you and check if there's a blaze. And I see one right behind me there, because I was walking this section for a little while, and you know, you get used to how often the blazes come up, and I didn't see one. And then, you know, I'm just cruising along with my head down, and you're like, oh shit, I hope I don't have to backtrack. Maybe it's not a tip at all. I just look behind me to see if I can see any behind me to show that I'm on the right path. Coming up to the campsite for tonight. After this, it's only 7 miles to the finish line tomorrow. But I've never done anything like this. A multi-night, multi-day, self-supported solo backpacking trip. Just you and nature and your own resourcefulness to get through whatever you need to get through. And I can taste the finish line from the ocean to the lake. You can fucking do anything. Most of it's mental. A lot of people can't get past that. They can't get past the comfort or discomfort. They can't get past the pain. They just have trouble getting through that. It's all you gotta do. You just gotta push past that. You can get anything you want. Again, not counting it out yet. Tomorrow's still a little tricky day. But I know coming into this camp, it'll give me fresh legs for tomorrow, because we have a few up and down hills. We got some sugar sand to walk. That's a pain in the ass, and then the road walk the rest of the way, which I hate. This camp is very confusing. I'm not exactly sure where to set up the tents. I see service roads running through here. I see like maybe a spot back here. I don't want to be too close to the privy. Oh, there's a little pump here. Is this working? That is the question. Oh, ooh, that's pretty dark. I don't know if you guys saw that. Look at, oh, that's muddy. Nope, no thank you. I see someone over here. I'll ask him. So you got register numbers. I did not know that. And look at this. Beautiful. Solid spot. Multiple picnic tables and benches. Gotta love that. Here at camp before sundown. Got the old tent set up perfectly again. That's nice. Got the food cooking or soaking. Still got some clean water from 7-Eleven. I might filter the lake water. Got the clothes drying over there, which is great. Was able to get myself all washed up, clean the face, get everything organized and situated before the sun goes down. Good night. See you all in the morning.